we'll see if years down the line, if we're talking about Anthony Edwards as another Kwame Brown.
Hey, bro, don't even say that, bro. I'm not trying to get attacked out here.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Clutch Talk podcast /YouTube/ We Do It All. As always, I am your host, John. Very happy to be here. Jenner, my brother, what's up, man?
Yo, excited to be here. Ready to get this Coach of the Year, Awards of the Year started. Jenner
trying to jump the gate. He trying to let y'all know what awards are we doing today, man.
I don't want to reveal them, but I was just telling you, I was having a little conversation with my buddy LeBron, and he was telling me he's really excited for this because he loves the Clutch Talk Awards way more than the regular NBA awards. So, he said, "Man, Junior, when we're gonna get these Clutch Talk Awards out?" I'm like, "Just relax, LeBron. We'll get them out when we get them out, man. Don't press LeBron. Don't press me. Just watch
LeBron." LeBron was he was a recipient of that award, a couple of his awards last season, man. So we'll see if he's in the running for this season, man.
Yes, sir.
But yes, sir, man. So that's what we got today, man. Today we got we're going over the season awards, man. We're going over the Defensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, and Coach of the Year. So make sure you guys stay tuned for next week's episode. That's where we're gonna go over the highly coveted MVP, Sixth Man of the Year, and Most Improved, man. So stay tuned for that. But without no further ado, Jenner, as long as everybody has already liked the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment something down below. Let's jump into these debates, man.
Let's do it.
So let's start with the most boring category, the most boring award that is given out every single year. Let's start with Coach of the Year. Jenner, before we even get into this, tell me who you got. Who you got for Coach of the Year?
All right, so it was between Tom Thibodeau, Monty Williams, or Quinn Snyder. And I knew for me it was really only between Williams and Tibbs. And that's no knock on Snyder, but he's got all the tools he needs to do what he did. And you can really make the same argument for Williams, especially since he has the tools and his team already missed the playoffs last year, meaning they had plenty of time to rest up. But Tibbs, it's his first year with the Knicks, which is extremely impressive. He doesn't have nearly the tools that Williams or Snyder has, yet look at his team, right? Sure, it's an easier conference, but the proportions are not alike. The Knicks are not even close to the Suns or the Jazz on paper, right? So Tibbs had to overcome more to get to where he is. He propelled the Knicks into fourth spot in the East, which is pretty impressive. That's the highest for any team not named Bucks, Sixers, or Nets. And he brought the Knicks to the playoffs for the first time since 12-13. So that's pretty impressive. And on top of all that, there's huge pressure when it comes to coaching a big market. And then look at New York, arguably the second biggest market in the country. And he did it. So huge props to Tibbs, and that's my Coach of the Year pick. What about you, John? Who do you got?
Man, I got to agree with you on this, man. Tibbs came through and honestly, the reason why I have to go with Tibbs on this one is because let's look at the Knicks, man. Like at the beginning of the season, if you go back to the start of the season when we dropped the prediction of where teams are going to fall into the seeding, I'm pretty sure you had the Knicks at like 12, and I had the Knicks in the last spot in the East, man. Before. Exactly, right. Shout out to homie Nick. Nick had him making the playoffs, but both me and you and the majority of rational human beings had the Knicks sitting at the bottom of the East, man. But for Tom Thibodeau to be able to get them to the fourth spot in the East, and without them having a real true star, because in today's NBA, when you have a real true star who can just score at will, you're going to win a couple of games just off pure talent. But Tom Thibodeau does not have that. Julius Randle, he is a good player, but he's not scoring because he's so much better than everybody. That team is scoring and winning because they're a very well-coached team. And we know that, usually the teams that are good on defense are very well-coached. And the Knicks are definitely a top defensive team in the league, man. So I got to agree with you on this one, Junior. I got to go with Tom Thibodeau on that one.
Great. No, Tibbs for sure. Tibbs for Coach of the Year.
Tibbs. All right, go Tibbs, man. But all right, so let's move on to the next award. Let's talk about this Rookie of the Year award, man. So it came down to the finalists between Tyrese Halliburton from the Kings, LaMelo Ball from the Hornets, and Anthony Edwards from the Timberwolves. So, Junior, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I know that most people are going to lean towards LaMelo Ball, but I got to swerve with this one, man. I got to go with Anthony Edwards, right?
Okay.
So I cannot discredit the fact that he played all 72 games. Like that right there to me is really the nail in the coffin. And that right there does it, especially in today's world where NBA veterans, people who've been in the league for 5+ years, 10+ years, they don't play all 72 games. Yeah. And for Anthony Edwards to come in as a rookie, do that. And I have this here written on my notes. I think that if you were going to look at any of these awards as an individual award, Rookie of the Year could be an award that you could look at and say, what did you do for yourself rather than what did you do for your team? Because as we know, like when rookies come in, we don't expect rookies to produce championships. We don't expect rookies to produce unless you're THT, right? And if you're THT, then we're expecting you to produce a championship.
Exactly.
But so we don't expect rookies to produce championships. We don't even expect rookies to produce playoff runs. But for Anthony Edwards to come in, and of course, he didn't push the Timberwolves to a playoff run or even a play-in run, but he himself individually put the team in the map. And as a rookie, we know something that's important is stability. And I think out of all these rookies, Anthony Edwards had the least amount of stability. So much was going on with Karl Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell, them missing so many games. And with the head of the team, the 2 star players missing, it's only bound to affect other players and the organization down the line, man. So that's why I think that Anthony Edwards
gets more scoring opportunities, though.
Which is why he took advantage of that, which is why he led all rookies in scoring at 19 points per game, four rebounds per game, 3 assists, shot 41% from the field, 32% from 3, man. So I think that if you look at individually what each of these players did between Tyrese and Melo and Anthony Edwards, I got to give it to Anthony Edwards, man. He's a slasher. He definitely has a dunk of the year. And out of all the rookies, he has the highest scoring game, man. He has that 42-point game against the Grizzlies, man. So I gotta give it to Edwards. But Junior, what are you feeling on this one?
Edwards is a good pick for sure. And just before I start moving into my points, I want you to hold on to that point about playing all 72 games when we start talking about.
Okay.
Keep that in mind.
Okay, we'll get there.
But I had to go with LaMelo Ball actually. So at the beginning of the season, it was LaMelo Ball, and it wasn't even close. Then Edwards really started closing the gap, and actually, I think maybe even took the lead there for a little bit. But ultimately, all 3 rookies missed the playoffs. But Melo really nearly got the Hornets in, and who knows? Maybe if he doesn't get injured, maybe they don't end up in a play-in, maybe they're 7th or 8th seed, so they get 2 shots rather than just 1, at staying in. But his impact has been tremendous, man. 16 points a game, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. I know that Edwards outscored him at 19 points a game. But LaMelo still holds the lead in these other 2 categories over Edwards. And really, I know that it's really nice that Edwards played all 72 games. I always applaud availability. But not really Melo's fault. He got injured, so I don't want to hold that against him too much, and for all those reasons, I have LaMelo Ball as my Rookie of the Year. I just think the way that he initiated and conducted that Hornets offense was really, really good. It was great to watch. The Hornets general. They were like everybody's like second favorite team, pretty much, just because they were so much fun to watch. And I think part of that was due to LaMelo Ball's impact on the team. And honestly, man, like I had him missing the playoffs by quite a bit actually when I was doing my preseason prediction. And technically, they missed the playoffs. They at least got in the play-ins. Didn't even have him there. So I think I had him in 12. So shout out to LaMelo Ball for just a great season, my Rookie of the Year. But good shouts on all fronts. LaMelo, Edwards, Halliburton. I think he definitely had a trajectory, but with injury kind of knocked out that possibility. Same thing with James Wiseman. I mean, James Wiseman's a little underwhelming, but I think he's one for the future because he's in a good setup there in Golden State.
Definitely. So then, Junior, let me ask you this question then. Considering the current situation, the current team situation, and where they are as players and the players around them and everything, and GM and organization and everything, considering everything between Halliburton, LaMelo, Anthony Edwards, and let's just throw Wiseman in there because I feel like he definitely would have been in the race if injuries wouldn't have hampered him so much. Between those 4 guys, who do you see has the most potential to become an NBA All-Star? Not just pure talent, not off talent, but talent and where they are and situation and the system and everything.
I mean, I think that definitely Wiseman's got the best setup out of all. I mean, the Warriors are ready to win. Like next year, they're competing for the title when they get Klay Thompson back. So Wiseman's definitely in the best setup. But who's got the most raw talent and who I think will probably be the best player out of all is probably Anthony Edwards, right? I mean, he's just got immense potential. It's all raw though. Like he's a high risk, high reward player. He could come out to be great or be an absolute bust. I think obviously, he's had a solid enough season to, I guess, not just immediately call him a bust, but we'll have to see, 10 years down the line, is he coming off the bench? Because if he is, then that's pretty underwhelming for a number one overall pick. But I think he's definitely got probably the highest upside just because he's just got so much just raw talent, I mean, like you said, he's like a mini baby Dwayne Wade, so I think that it's gonna be interesting to see how he develops. So I gotta go. Best setup is Wiseman. Most raw talent is Edwards.
Definitely. I would agree with you. I think that Wiseman definitely is out of all these players in the number one position to, hey, win now. Hey, we need a player of your caliber. We need a player who can get it done on defensive end, but also do something on the offensive end as well, because that team is so offensively orientated. Right. But as far as talent, as far as just pure unpolished talent, I got to go with Edwards, man. You said it best, man. High risk, high reward. Like he definitely is, out of all these players, the highest reward. Like we don't know. I feel like we can see Melo's ceiling. We can see Halliburton's ceiling. We don't know what Edwards could be. He could be 10 times that, or like how you said, he can be just a 19 points per game scorer. If that's the case,
like he didn't even care about basketball. He's just a good hooper. Yeah. And I'm thinking like, man, if you don't care, like, are you really going to be that good if you don't care? That's
the same thing I thought.
Especially when you're making millions of dollars, you're like, man, I don't care about this, and I have all this money. Like, I'm not about to go practice. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I feel like people who don't care about basketball, like that's a slippery slope for him. So we'll have to see how he pans out.
We'll see. We'll see if years down the line, if we're talking about Anthony Edwards as another Kwame Brown.
Hey, bro, don't even say that. Bro. I'm not trying to get attacked out here. Not on this podcast, bro.
Hey, no, Kwame, you are welcomed and loved at this podcast, man.
Yeah, bro. Hey, come on, I got a jersey right here, man.
He said, "Oh shit, Kwame, don't talk about Kwame. Yeah,
you talking about Kwame.
You don't want to get everybody on the socials.
He coming for everybody, man. Nah, bring him on,
man. Hey, Kwame. Hey, if you want to come on Clutch Talk, you are welcome on Clutch Talk whenever you want, man. Come tell us your truth, man. Come see your story.
Listen to all sides here, man. We're friendly.
You don't need to come at us on Twitter or on Instagram, Kwame. All right. Well, enough of talking about Kwame and Becky with the good hair. Let's talk about the defensive player of the year, man. So, Jenner, honestly, in my opinion, this award is the second most controversial award, this year. First behind of course, the MVP. That's always the most controversial award every year. But to me personally, this is pretty easy, right? I've heard a lot of people, go back and forth about this, but to me, this one's pretty easy, man. And when we look at the Defensive Player of the Year award, right? Like I look at an overall defense, who's the best overall defensive player, not just rim protection, not just perimeter protection, but really overall, right? And I know it's going to sound super simply put, but this is the way that I have came up with my Defensive Player of the Year and what makes sense to me. And it's simply that I can live with Ben Simmons guarding Rudy Gobert's assignment, but I cannot live with Rudy Gobert guarding Ben Simmons' assignment. That is more trouble to me. And I simply would rather Ben Simmons guard who Rudy Gobert is guarding than have to Rudy Gobert guard Ben Simmons guard, because Ben Simmons can guard 1 through 5.
Yeah, that's true. But there's only a few players that can guard 1 through 5. If you look at that argument, the only players who would ever win this would be Ben Simmons and Anthony Davis and Kevin Garnett. Like that's it. So I think it's definitely a good argument, but I don't know if you can hinge your entire Defensive Player of the Year on that. Otherwise, nobody else wins it. So it would be a little tough. But I mean, keep going.
So to you then, who do you have as defensive player?
I have Rudy Gobert. Gobert. I think that this award is only really between Gobert and Simmons. I respect Draymond's defense, but I think his better defensive years were a bit behind him. So I mean, look at Gobert. He's averaging 3 blocks to go with 0.6 steals. He's got immense defensive presence. He's averaging 10 defensive rebounds a game. Like that's extremely useful when you're out there fighting in the post. You have a person who got 10 of these defenders, 10 of these defensive rebounds a game is pretty useful. And this type of availability. 71 out of 72 potential games played. That's very good.
Yeah.
Jazz are third in defensive rating, and Gobert is third in individual defensive rating as well. So it's pretty interesting to look at all these stats, and you see, man, he really does get it done in the stat sheet. But then in the eye test as well, you see the way he alters shot is pretty incredible. I think him and Anthony Davis are in a league of their own when it comes to altering shots, because they are able to really get up high and block it up high, but they also have the lateral quickness to keep up with a lot of players. Like, sure, they're not going to be able to keep up with a Steph or a Kyrie. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they can keep up laterally with like better than most bigs. So because of that, I have to go with Rudy Gobert as my defensive player of the year this year, just because I feel like he's giving you the stats, he's giving you the eye test, he's giving you the defensive presence, and he's just being able to get it done. And while I agree that Ben Simmons is a much more versatile player, I think that Rudy Gobert just does focus on one thing, which is paint defense, but he does an excellent job doing that. So I had to go with him on that. He's a specialist, paint defender specialist. Give him the specialist badge.
Okay, give him a 2K specialist badge. All right. So then, Junior, let me ask you this. So I know you're not saying that you think rim protection is more important than perimeter defense. I know you're not hinging your entire argument off blocks, but
right.
If you had to pick between having a player that can lock up in the perimeter or give you rim protection, to you personally, because like we know you're locked in with the NBA, you're on the NBA sources,
I communicate
all the
friends.
Every
player is my friend.
You're the connection. The players go to you, and then you go to Woj. That's how it goes, right?
Exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
Yeah, right. So I know that you're in, and I know you gotta vote for the awards. I know you got a ballot. So
I voted
take this
for
into
GHT
consideration
on every single award.
Take this into consideration, right? On your ballot, when you're looking at this defensive player of the year, do you look at like, okay, I'd rather have someone that's going to give me rim protection or give me perimeter defense?
Look, honestly, it's tough. I'd have to say perimeter defense is more important because, it's easier to score from inside than it is from outside. So you want to keep them at bay as much as possible. And in that category, obviously Ben Simmons is a better perimeter defender than Rudy Gobert, but it's also because Rudy Gobert is 7'1", right? Like his body's just not set up to be a perimeter defender. Yeah. Like it's like Shaq. I'm not comparing Gobert to Shaq, but I'm saying Shaq would not give you any perimeter defense, yet he was one of the best defenders in the game because you just can't get anything past him, right? So ultimately, the goal is to keep the ball from going inside the hoop, And if you got to do it at the perimeter, if you got to do it at the hoop, then, do it wherever you need to do it. Do it at full court press, but as long as the ball doesn't go in the hoop. And I think that Gobert does a really good job doing that in the paint. But to answer your question, perimeter defense is more important. I would agree with that statement.
Okay. Well, there you have it, there, everybody. That was our season. Well, not all of the season, man. That was 3 out of the 6 season awards that we have, man. Today we went over, defensive player of the year, rookie of the year, and coach of the year. So, Junior, man, thank you very, very much for coming on, man. It was really fun.
I love it. I'm looking forward to more awards. We'll continue the Clutch Talk tradition here, the Clutch Talk Awards.
Yes, sir, man. So as always, you guys, like, comment, subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure, you hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit that like button and hit that bell button so you get a notification whenever we drop a video. If you're on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, we love our podcast listeners. Go ahead and subscribe to our channel, man. Leave us a ranking, man. Rank our podcast right there on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, man. And stay tuned, man. As always, go follow our Instagram. Go follow our Twitter. It's at Clutch Talk 1. Come debate with us on there. Yeah, we got some good debates going on there. We got some good NBA polls, NBA trivia, and all that, man. So stay tuned for that. And as always, man, stay tuned for next week's episode. Next week, we got the highly coveted MVP, Sixth Man of the Year, and Most Improved, man. So that one's going to be a real good, exciting debate, man. So stay tuned for that. But Junior, man, you got anything to say to the fans?
No, just appreciate you having me on. Appreciate these debates, and I'm excited for part 2 of the Clutch Talk Awards, baby. Let's get it going.
Let's get it going, man. All right, y'all. We out of y'all. Clutch Talk out.
Peace.